Welcome back. This is still the press on KAFTAN television, reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. And right now, we've been joined by a guest to discuss or analyze some of the headlines that made it to our national dailies. And our guest for today is Gordon Attai, who is a public affairs analyst. A reminder that also our phone lines are now open for you to call in to ask a question or give in your contribution. A very good morning and welcome to the program, sir.
Good morning, Mercy.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
And thank you for having me.
How are you navigating the cost of living crisis, the transportation hike, as well as the foodstuff prices hike?
There is so much high tide. The waves are so high, and our ships are almost sinking.
But so you don't see light at the end of the tunnel with this administration?
Well, I don't want to sound like pessimistic,
All right.
but I want to urge the administration to let the light shine.
I mean, why can't the light even be at the beginning of the tunnel?
Why would it be at the end, right?
We are still in the middle of the tunnel, so we have not got to where we can see the glimpse of the light yet.
Okay, so we should just be hopeful.
Yes, we should be hopeful.
As our president said. All right, let's delve straight to the business of the day. I'm sure you're aware of the new policy from the Apex Bank concerning the 0.5 cybersecurity levy that is being imposed on Nigerians. And as of yesterday, the House of Reps ordered that implementation should be halted, it should be stopped for now. Now, my question is, what is the essence of this cybersecurity levy, and why must Nigerians be the one to pay this levy?
Before I answer that question, I'd like to point out that the Apex Bank or any other agency for that matter has no authority to impose levy or tax without the National Assembly.
Okay.
Right.
The National Assembly is a clearinghouse. So if you are imposing any tax, it should pass through the legislative chambers, not anybody rising up. Then, on the cybersecurity levy, how many Nigerians are involved or utilize this? Are we to pick all the bills? There are so many levies. The burdens are so much on our backs. So some should be taken up. So I support the action of the National Assembly to halt. Let them allow us to breathe. We are paying levy on or tariff on NEPA, tariff on water, tariff on almost everything. Then the biggest of them all, transport.
Exactly.
And so the government and all agencies of government, including the the CBN, should be involved in how we can have low transportation regimes. Because when the cost of transport is lower, it helps movement of people, movement of foodstuff.
That's true.
It helps importation and so on. So if we have so many things, levies, coming out at the same time, the next we will see is that people, the masses will react negatively, and it's not good.
All right, let's take this call. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning,
your name and where
you.
you're calling us from. Can you speak up? Yeah, we can hear you. All right, thanks for joining us. You can key into the contribution.
You see, we have so many things that should be put into law by our National Assembly. They are not looking up to that way. Why am I saying this? Now, if you look to this terrorist of it now, it has started for a decade now. There is no penalty to it. If you see to them that are National Assembly and all other political office holders, they have been looting our money. There is no law placed on it. If you look at their election, there are so many things that is wrong during the election. There is no law that has been put into it. Now, look at just like the analyst was like saying, when the transport fare is reduced, how can it be reduced? You are buying fuel at the rate of 900 naira, 1,000 something, and gas is diesel. They are buying it at the rate of 1,000 something. And you think within just a tank of maybe 911 or man diesel or so, there are some that have tank that is carrying almost 500 liters, 800 liters. Check a liter of such tank, and not that maybe when you build it, it will take you down to your destination late. And the expenses on the road, maybe the security agencies like the police, the soldiers, and the rest of them on the road, and you think they are going to reduce price. Nigeria is not serious over this thing. Until our National Assembly put everything right. Because one, for them to put it right, all these laws will be made. Because our people say, when you want to start any good thing, start it from your house. Yes. Let the law start from their head. And any person that fall into it as a victim will face the penalty. If not, all these things will not work out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as the caller has said, well, I was briefed the other time. I didn't want to go into details.
Okay.
Now, there are so many things that have to be put in place in order to have low cost of transportation. Let's start from the petroleum sector, which is the main income earner of the country. If we have a country that produces crude and we do not have refineries functioning,
okay,
we do not refine the crude into petroleum products, finished goods,
okay,
we keep importing, the transportation costs will always be high. Let all the refineries function. And I would like to say, government should cease to own these refineries.
Okay.
Because government is a bad businessman.
Oh.
Let the refineries be privatized. I remember President Obasanjo did that, but as soon as he left, the next man reversed. Because if the refineries are privatized, and if more refineries come up, that's another one.
Okay.
The cost of setting up refineries, the cost of meeting regulatory agencies demands is so high that at the end of the day, you may spend so much money, more than the cost of setting up a refinery. For example, you want to set up, let's say, a modular refinery. Or let's go lower than that. We can set up micro steel refineries.
Okay.
There's refineries that refine between 250 barrels per day to 500. Maybe we could set up that at a cost of, maybe with the inflationary trend now, at a cost of maybe $3 million.
Okay.
But you see that the cost of getting the license, one license after the other, may take us up to $12 million. So at the end, nobody is able to do it. So that is one of it. So government should really look into this. Some of those tax regimes that are affecting that sector should be taken off. Some of those regulatory demands should be reduced so that more people can set up refineries. And then roads. Government should also pay more attention to rehabilitation of roads to enable the cost, the transportation of this product from one end to the other.
Okay.
So there are so much things that must be done to enable us have low cost of transportation. So it is not just reducing.
Okay.
Then government can also provide, as part of their palliative, provide buses. We need to have more buses on the roads so that they can help that of the private sector reduce the cost of transport. Yeah. Now back to the issue of cyber security. Well, I know that government has a lot to do to enable us have a safe cyberspace.
Okay.
But I do not think all this demand for new tax regimes as yet. Let us be able to come out of the inflation that we are now.
Okay.
Yeah. we are facing an inflation. I don't know, maybe if that's the right word, we said there's a kind of meltdown. The economy is not sound. So let us not bring other things that will hurt the economy. Okay. Then by the time the things improve, then we can now think of that.
Yeah, don't you think instead of implementing this cybersecurity levy, are there other ways we can attain this cybersecurity without Nigerians paying, paying this levy? I mean, it's important. The cybersecurity is very important.
There are.
Okay, what ways are there?
For instance, Nigeria has become a consumer of all sorts of social media products.
Okay.
And then we are also open. We do what we like. Government can check, can bring some checks into what is transmitted into Nigeria.
Okay.
So that we don't just have everything. The youths are exposed to so many culture from the social media, and we are also open to manipulation. So government has more to do. It's not everything that calls for so much money from the people. No. There are things that demands for administrative directives, and people carry out those directives. Then again, this country has satellites.
Okay.
The NICOM sats. Why are we not utilizing these satellites to the optimum? Why are we still using other countries' satellites? For example, some business sectors in Nigeria still pass through the South African satellites. And it is not good for the country. Why is our own underutilized? Because that one we can control, and it is quite a good facility. So I will urge government to patronize its own satellite more, so that we can now bring some checks and balances into what is coming in and what is going out.
Okay, now let me come in here. As much as we know that this cybersecurity is important, now let's look at it from this angle. Since the emergence of this administration, it kickstarts with the removal of the fuel subsidy. Then a few weeks ago, we are dancing about the electricity tariff, and now the cybersecurity levy, and over time it's just been like a burden upon burden on Nigerians' shoulder. Now, do you think why the government is as much as the government say they are trying to put things in order, do you think this is like robbing Peter to pay Paul?
The business of governance in most cases has always been robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Oh wow.
Because
to be so.
You see, the business of statecraft is a very complex one. There are so many things one cannot say. There are things that are unavoidable. But what I'm trying to say in this case is that we don't bring so many things at the same time.
Okay.
Because the burden is so much. Let people breathe. Now, getting back to what you have said, I have said that we should allow the cyber security thing to be. And moreover, we need to know exactly how, the workability of it.
Okay.
How is it going to be implemented? How is the money going to be derived? Or is it that at the end of the day, we'll begin to see deductions from our bank accounts, arbitrary deductions? So there are things that have to be streamlined properly before we now. So CBN needs to be more explicit. Let us know. What are they up to? So I like what the parliament is doing to halt them. Let them come out, because CBN over time now has become so autonomous that they come out with policies, implement, and they appear like a bull in a china shop. Nobody can stop.
Okay, now let's move to Rivers State. Still on the Rivers political crisis. This morning on Nigerian Tribune, the headline here is Fubara moves against pro-Wike lawmakers, inspect assembly complex for renovation. And as of yesterday, Fubara stormed the Rivers State's assembly quarters when he was about to be impeached. This Rivers political crisis is long overdue. It keeps dragging. And even when the president intervened, we are like, okay, let's see if this is going to bring a kind of a resolution, but yet they are still on this political crisis. What is the way forward?
Well, before I mention the way forward, let me just bring this short the story. I once held a political office back in my state.
Okay.
And when I left that office to my successor, I removed my hands and allowed him to run. Even when he called from time to time, you're not interested. I said, you are there. You are the new helmsman. Continue. If there is any important advice, I will give.
Okay.
But for you, for the day-to-day running of the agency, you go ahead. So I want to tell my brother Wike, hands off rivers. Leave rivers.
Okay.
You see, it has become a tradition in this country that somebody is a governor, you do not want anybody to interfere. You rule as the Almighty. But when you are out of office, you don't want your successor to have such power. You want to interrupt him. You are interloping everything. You want him to recognize you as still the Almighty. So that is the problem of Nigerian politics. So if I am asked now, I will tell the former political office holders of Rivers to allow this new administration to be. Let them fumble and stand. Let them implement their policies, which are for the good governance of the people, and not a situation that you stay in the office, you don't take any advice from anybody, you behave as you like. When you leave, you want the situation to continue. Unless Wike wants to go back to the governor. If he doesn't want, then allow Rivers to be.
Let's take this call. We'll continue.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
The same Collins.
Okay.
There is one thing, if we want this political crisis to stop, there is one thing we, the poor masses, must do, and especially the National Assembly must do. What am I saying, Nathan? Now, the salaries or the bonuses or the allowances from the political holders is too robust. Nobody wants to leave it for anybody. Because let's look to this Fubara stuff now. He was brought in by Wike. Now, Wike is standing as his godfather. Wike wants him to do everything under his watch, which can never and will never. Because he personally, that is why the Bible says, any man that knows how to do good, let him continue to do good. And if you see that doing bad is the best thing, continue to do it. At the end of the day, you are going to receive your reward. The same thing, the same step he has taken against another person, that is what he's facing. In every state, the governor is the leader of any party that won in that state and is sitting as the governor. Being you a leader, as long as the governor has emerged, is the leader of that state. Take it or you leave it. Then another thing that was like trying to see, there was a time, how many years back, they said we should go and do BVN, do BVN. There are so many accounts now that are still working on without BVN. I don't know whether our president still might remember it. Let them do something. All these accounts that most of our money are being looted in, they doesn't have BVN. Not until all these things are done. In fact, things will not be okay. So in terms of the River State, Wike should allow Fubara to rule. The same thing was about to happen in my state between Attai and the present governor. They were very lucky the governor is God sent. As I'm talking to you now, nobody is complaining of hunger. Every month on the 25th, they are receiving their salaries, receiving their pass, arrears, and so many things. Everybody are looking very good now. So let him allow any governor that is doing it, but let them allow them to continue within the shortest period of time, which is 8 years, if we are still living. another person will emerge. If their eyes are upon this and they don't allow these people to do according to how they will rest, then there will be no peace. Please, we need development. With the promises that do both, then we need development, just like my governor, Father Alia is doing in Benue State. If the same thing implies to Fubara, then let's allow him to continue the good work he has done before he left. Let another person continue. Not until the looting come up and something is not, no infrastructure, nothing is happening, then there is something that people will still complain. But hell, allow the governor to be the leader of the party in every of the state, as long as our party APC is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, still on Rivers. Thank you, the last caller, because he too has told the same line. Our memory has not yet failed us. I think a few years ago, when Wike was the Minister of State for Education, he caused so much trouble for the sitting governor in Rivers State. That was Amechi.
Yeah.
Now Wike is up here. So it's like any time Wike comes to the federal, he must make Rivers State ungovernable. So I want to call on President Tinubu to call Wike to order. Wike is not a god. It's a human being. He is his boss. You call him to order. You allow the Rivers people to be. The leader of Rivers now is Fubara. He is the governor. If anything goes wrong, he is the person to be held responsible, not Wike. We don't know Wike again.
Okay, let me add to this. Wike brought in Fubara, like he was said, he bought the form, the party's form for him and some other. Do you think that because I think from my own end, what Wike is demanding on our asking of Fubara is to pay him, you know, some godfather homage. Do you think the governor of River State owe him that?
We don't want to know if anybody bought form for anybody. What we are saying here is that the leader of River State is Fubara. We don't know Wike. Okay. Anybody can buy form for anybody. Okay. You can assist anybody to come. Oh, did he bring him so that he may control him to continue to help himself to Rivers treasures?
No, probably both of them might have a deal.
Whatever deal they have, you see, there's a portion of the Constitution that says that if there is any inconsistency, any law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, to the extent of the inconsistency, that other law remains null and void. So if there is any action, any policy, or any behavior of past or present leaders, political leaders, that are inconsistent to the deliverance of good governance, such behavior is null and void. So Wike or whosoever does not have any power or authority to disrupt the good governance of a present administration or the governance. Allow him. Let us know him. This thing is done by him, and not, oh, somebody somewhere. But we don't want to hear such rubbish.
Now, while this has lingered, do you see the PDP party coming back stronger in the next 2027 election? And aside that, one more question on this. Now, Wike is a PDP member, but works for the current administration, which is the All Progressive Congress, the APC. Do you think Wike is still a loyalist to the PDP?
I don't want to go into their party politics. I see Wike as a self-serving person. He's working for himself. So it has nothing to do with PDP. I'm not a PDP member, but I do not think his action has to do with PDP. I think his action has to do with self-interest. He is a self-centered somebody. He's self-preservation. He wants his influence to continue to be in Rivers, and has forgotten that he's no more. So people should learn to know that power is transient. When you are out of the scene, you are out of the scene. Don't try to. It's just like somebody is dead and is trying to control what goes on here in the world. It's impossible.
All right, let's take this call.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Just like the question you asked the analyst.
Okay.
Let me just chip in before I leave for the comment. I mean, together. You see, any person that is telling you that PDP will come back, more especially in my state. As I'm talking to you now, there are primary school teachers who taught them, many of them that are governors, senators, and whatever today. The past government is owing some of them up to 2-3 years salaries. It is now that this father came in that is clearing some of those backlog and also paying forward. He's not owing anybody currently now. So, more especially in my state, forget about PDP. They can't return back. So many things are being done wrong. Okay, look at our federal road now. Look at the way work are going all over. Did we have government before? Look at refineries, our Texas industries, our flour mills and every other thing. Who brought it down? All these things came up through the military. We all both enjoyed it. When they came up, they destroyed all these things. All the things we are going through today is caused by PDP. Let me tell you. So about PDP, forget it. And if this present government continue like this, believe me, they can even read donkeys of years. So forget me for PDP. Maybe in other states, I can't know actually, but I happen to know that the present government we are having, all the governors, they are very young people and they know very vibrant and in fact they have everything. So I don't think they are going to put anything asunder before they will think of going to look for another party or this or that. So thank you. But PDP, forget them. They are gone and forgotten.
Thank you. The caller said PDP is not coming on board anymore.
I have tried to steer myself away from talking about parties. You know why? Because right now, I do not see the difference between the APC and the defunct PDP administration.
Okay.
So many actors of the present administration were in PDP. And this is a character problem. It is not a party, because I do not even know a good party man in this country. Take, for instance, you have a party in government. After a few months, you hear they want to impeach the chairman. When you investigate, you see everything borders on corruption. So the problem is this, and the solution is this. If you are voted into public office, see it as a sacred duty, not party. That you will never pass through that road again, like Wike is trying to pass through the back door. It's impossible. If you hold office as governor for 8 years, you will never be governor of that state again unless you are not practicing democracy. So you know that there are things you ought to do. Go ahead and do those things. Don't begin to fight, do other things, because when you are out of the scene, you will never have that opportunity anymore. So if PDP wants to come, whether it doesn't want to come, whether APC want to stay, I don't see the difference, because we are still the same people. If PDP comes in today, you see there will be a mass exodus of people from APC to PDP, because they can't imagine life outside office. They don't want to experience that. So they must be in office. Even when they are working with the walking stick, they still want to be in office. So it's a character problem. So let Nigerians, let us in the sub-Saharan Africa learn to do what is right, and then know that there's a time for everything. Instead, labor to do what is right, so that when you are out of the scene, people will remember you for good. Not to continue to perpetrate yourself to be there until the ovation has gone so low and people will be dragging you, get out of this place. So that is why I refuse to talk about party. I'm urging the political office holders, please, for God's sake, do what is right. Do those things that you promised us that you are going to do. I urge President Tinubu, last time I spoke here, I urged him, I said, if the Naira is so low, why don't you export in Naira? Let people come to Nigeria and buy our things in our currency. It will help the currency to go up. And then, let the political office holders know that it's a sacred duty. Please don't loot and keep buying foreign currency to stash in your bunkers, because it helps to hurt the economy. It hurts the economy. So that is it. Then for the Wike again, I want to urge the people of Rivers State to support their governor.
Okay.
Wike is no longer your governor. Support your governor. Don't support another person, because if you cause people to die, you can never replace that life. If you cause hardship, people are not happy. God himself will not be happy with you, although some don't know God. So, because if we knew God, we know that all what we are doing is for God. God will judge us. So let the people of Rivers support their governor. Leave Wike alone. Let Wike face his own charge of duties here.
So, still on this Rivers political crisis, do you think the president should intervene again?
Yes, I think so. I've said a while ago that President Tinubu should call Wike to order.
Okay.
Should tell him to hands off Rivers. The governor is the leader of Rivers. He owes Rivers people a duty. Let him be the one. If the people don't like him, they can impeach him.
Okay.
Not somebody stage managing the impeachment from somewhere. So President Tinubu should call Wike to order. Let him not do the same mistake of Jonathan. When Jonathan allowed Wike to cause so much trouble in Rivers State until he came into one. I don't want to go into that.
It's serious. All right, let's move to more headlines. This is coming from the Senate. The Senate has approved death penalty for hard rock importers as well as the dealers. Now, do you think that are you in consensus with this punishment, or do you think there are other ways to, handle these drug dealers as well as importers?
Well, if the Senate has approved death penalty for dealers, fine. Then are they also going to approve death penalty for the consumers and for the marketers? You see, the issue of drug business is a global problem.
Yes, true.
And every country tries to tackle it as their capacity can. So if we are approving death penalty, just like it was in the military era, well, I wouldn't say it's bad, because drug business has caused so much, has destroyed lives.
So many.
If you want to know how bad it is, go to the ghettos. You see young people taking drugs. Those people, some of them don't even have future again. Some don't go to school. They are dropouts. From consumption of drug, they go into cultism. From cultism, they go into armed robbery. From armed robbery, they go. So it is one kind of anomaly that brings so many others. So if the Senate has done that, well, I will support them. But I want to say, let them also give punitive measures to the marketers of drugs.
Okay.
Beyond that, let us also sensitize the people on the negative effect of drug consumption.
Okay.
Our schools, our media industry, and everybody should be involved. Not just punish people and say, okay, we are going to kill you, you have sold drugs, and people are still taking. Let's tell the people, the youths especially, the negative effect of taking drugs. Let it be in our school curriculum. If it was not, if it is, let's be talking. We have a law in this country that forbids smoking in public places, but it's not implemented.
Exactly.
It was enacted by President Babangida. So it is not enough to have these laws and we don't implement. Or maybe somebody is sentenced to death and he will be there in prison for the next 30 years. It's counterproductive. So the Senate should move ahead, or about 2 steps ahead of what they have done. Let them set up the machinery to sensitize the public on the negative effects of drugs. Because when consumers begin to reduce, the demand will reduce.
Also. That's true.
Okay, now let me add to this. You said what happened to the consumers. Now, do you think a punishment should be created for the consumers? And aside that, one of the lawmakers in the Red Chamber moved about curbing the menace of drug abuse in Nigeria. Now look at, can we, because we don't use 99% of our time to talk about the problem and use 1% to talk about how to solve the problem. Do you think the federal government should look into what causes this drug abuse? Because in most cases it could be unemployment, it could be so many things. How do you think the federal government should address even the drug abuse itself, apart from the death penalty that has been approved?
There's no smoke without a fire.
Okay, let us start from the economy. Because most of the people that consume drugs are depressed people.
Exactly.
So many people are depressed in a state of melancholy. They're not happy. And the only heaven for them is taking drugs. So let the government try to reduce the hardship in the land. Let government reduce hardship. Let me point at one sector, like the agro sector.
Okay.
Right now, we are having difficulty in circulating food. Not that we don't have food, but the insecurity in the north here has hampered the distribution of food. We cannot move food from the primary producers to the consumers.
Even the farmers cannot even go into their farms to farm.
The farmers can't go. So much insecurity. So let government do everything. If it means imposing a state of emergency, let government do that. Let the president do that. Let government tackle this issue of insecurity, this issue of terrorism in Nigeria, so that we can have a safe country, so that foodstuff and other services can go around. That's number one. Then two, where our production is not enough, government can license a businessman to import food for some time. For example, you can import rice, can import maize. Many countries do that to cushion the effects of the hardship. Then we should also encourage farmers to go back to their farms. There are some states that have arable land, but they are not really into agriculture. Everybody is looking at politics. Let us encourage even politicians to have farms. Let them go back to agriculture. Let everybody cultivate, so that we can now know that the economy is, this will ameliorate the effect, and then the economy is better. Then back to the drug issue. I've also mentioned that there should be enough sensitization. I used to know an agency called National Orientation Agency. I don't believe it's dead. Government can call it back. Let it begin to sensitize in schools, at the market, everywhere. Let people know the negative effects of drug consumption.
But that's the work of the NDLEA, right?
No, the national orientation, it should be a work of everybody, because it affects everybody, not NDLEA alone. NDLEA alone might look at the marketing, the imports, but this other one is beyond that agency. So everybody should be involved. Every ministry, every government function should talk about it, so that people may know, the young people should know. Then finally, on that, I would like to say, let parents bring up their children well. You see, when your children see you do a thing, they will also copy. Or when their children begin to do a thing and you say nothing, you don't check what they do. I have a friend that returns to the house in the evening. After that, he goes in to watch football at one of the gardens. And then he watches football till 11. He comes back home. When does he have time to talk to his children? Mothers should talk to their children. Fathers should talk to their children. Teachers should talk to their children. So that when we all do this, it's a holistic approach. Let everybody be involved in talking to us. Even adults, there are people who cannot stand before people and talk without taking some drugs. So it's a very big thing that affects our daily life. So everybody should talk about it. By so doing, so many people will come out of it. Then let us also have centers for rehabilitation. Let's begin to rehabilitate some of the addicts. Yes.
Now let me ask one final question, because our time is fast kicking. Now, do you see this achievable? Because when we talk about the drug abuse, like we all know, there are so many things that contribute to the drug abuse. Which you mentioned the insecurity, you mentioned lack of job, unemployment. Now, if the federal government does not address all this, to you know, to lessen the burden, do you think this will be achieved? The curbing the drug abuse menace. Do you think it would be achieved?
Well, everything cannot be achieved at the same time.
Okay.
Because it's just like saying, let us turn earth to heaven. But we must be seen to be doing. Let's continue.
Okay.
Where we stop, the next generation will take up from there. But let's not sit down and look the other way. Let us be seen to be doing. And you discover that some people will listen and will withdraw their hands. For example, I once was a chain smoker. I smoke. If I did not smoke, I would not feel satisfied, even if I ate. But later, by reading, I saw and I stopped. So others can also stop.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Gordon Attai, for
Thank
your
you so
immense
much,
contributions. Hope to see you join us again some other time. Thank you so much. Our viewers, time is against us. I hope you had a swell time on today's episode on The Press. Many thanks for joining us, and do stay tuned for more updates on KAFTAN TV. I remain Confidence Rueben.
Thank you for sticking with us. At this point, this is where we draw the curtain for the show today, and I hope you had a very wonderful time. Thank you very much, and keep watching KAFTAN TV. I am Missy Emelite.